What's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another podcast S-style video. This time I have special guest Aandroidd with me. What's going on, dude?
What up?
Yeah, this is awesome. Aandroidd reached out to me to kind of do just a collab video, and we're talking about the 10 things that we feel like the Dragon Ball Super card game needs. You can catch part 1 on Aandroidd's channel. I'll link that down in the description below, so make sure you check that out. So we're gonna get into basically the second half of the list. We went over the first 5 things in Aandroidd's video, so this is gonna be in like no particular order, at least on my part. So we'll just well, first of all, how you doing, Aandroidd? How you doing? I should get the I should ask that.
I'm okay. It's all right. You know, you already know. I am perfectly okay. I'm very happy to be here. I'm very happy to talk through everything here.
Please excuse my my poor manners. All right, so we'll get right into it. So first thing I got is more interactive cards like Cold Bloodlust, Revenge. So a little bit of a why I think this is important. So I come from Yu-Gi-Oh, and that's like the game of ultra interactivity, where I think like the polar opposite is like Pokemon, where it's very minimal interaction. Because you're just doing a lot of things on your turn and attacking your opponent and then passing. But I want more interactive cards in this game, like Cold Bloodlust, like Revenge, cards that make you have to play around certain things, and cards that necessarily kind of allow you to stay in the game without just having bombs dropped on you. And that'll come into my second point a little bit. But I don't know, what do you think about that?
Oh, as far as like interactive cards,
yeah,
I think so. So the two most interactive cards, I guess, are like Cold Bloodlust, or less interactive cards are like Cold Bloodlust and most likely Deflect, or anything with Deflect. So
yeah.
I know we're gonna go into that a little bit more, but I think going away from that would be good. And the other thing is that I personally would want more counterplay cards.
For sure.
And you know, since we only have what, 3 in the whole game.
Yep.
I think introducing counterplay cards for each color would be really cool. So just like we have a counter for each color, I think counterplay cards for each color would be really cool. So obviously yellow already has one. I think blue should have like
something better than ectoplasm.
Yeah, but, you know, just something cooler. Like green can be like you play a card and you can pop something, or if it's something like 2 or less, it get KO'd. Yeah. Or like red, you play something and then it loses 15k or something like that. You know, those type of cards. I think that would be really cool. And just more interactive cards in which we have more things to do within a turn would be really cool.
For sure. Like counterplay is something I think we need a lot more of. Something like in blue, maybe like or even like counterattack and negate target one card your opponent controls, negate the skill. I think more skill negation is kind of important too, because we just have so many bomb cards that you just drop, and there's not really many answers to it outside of like Cold Bloodlust if it has to attack to get its effect, or Crusher Ball if it has to attack and get its effect, or Bloodlust if you're playing only a Frieza leader. So there's very limited answers to big bombs right now, and I think that could be a little bit problematic going forward.
And really, the only things that kind of answer to that are within yellow. So like Cold Bloodlust, Bad Ring, and things like that are within yellow. And I think expanding that would be really good.
I completely agree. I think it's hilarious how they print a card like minus Killy Zone, like in answer to counter cards, in case counter cards ever got like too crazy. But there's only 2 real counterplay cards in the game. I think it's just hilarious. But yeah. All right, so we'll get into the second topic, because it's much on track with the same thing. Is I want less deflect in the game. So like I was just talking about a second ago, there's too many big bomb cards that kind of just come down and they just pay you, to take the words of Matt Combs. They just pay you, and you slam these cards down, they get crazy effects, and your opponent cannot really do much to stop them. And a big example of that, I kind of just talked about it in a previous video, is the new 7-drop Gogeta coming out. It just comes down, completely devastates your opponent's hand, and it's probably going to win you the game as soon as you drop it. I'm not necessarily advocating that card's going to be a problem in the game, because I do think it's somewhat difficult.
You can say it. You can say it. I mean, it's your channel, but I
don't necessarily I don't necessarily think it's a problem yet. I just don't have enough data. I tested it and I found it somewhat hard to drop in certain games. But when you do drop it, it's like an auto win button. So I don't like the fact that there's like auto win buttons. But then to the same point, I was at locals today and I was playing a mono blue mirror match, and we literally just went back and forth doing nothing for 5 turns until my opponent dropped Fu Shrouded and won. So like to a point, the game has to end. But I'm not a huge fan of just like auto win buttons. So yeah, what do you think, dude?
I think strong win cons are really good. I think I'm a big fan for win cons. I'm a big fan of like less so like I like aggro. I sucked at aggro before, and now playing Chunks, now playing Hoodagon, now playing like all these other decks that are really aggro. I've gotten better at it, and that's cool. You can do a lot of things on one turn, but I like having a build up into a win con. And when you get to that point, I don't want to not have a chance at defending myself and not being able to interact with that. Things like the 7-drop Gogeta, things like the Victory Strike Goku, those can be a problem, but it's just really hard to get around.
I agree.
And one of the things that I had to go against was the 7-drop Gogeta, in which I was playing Janemba, ironically enough, and then they dropped the Gogeta. They had a Shenron, the 4-drop Shenron, gave it critical.
Oh yeah, wow.
And then his Shenron leader gave it triple strike, and I was just like, oh, okay, I lose then. Yeah. That's tight, because I'm at 8 life, and I'm like, I can't really do anything. So
I completely agree. That's why I definitely want more interactivity and less deflect. Like that kind of thing is just not fun. It's really just not fun.
Yeah, I mean, one good Crusher Ball would end that, but since deflect is around, it is kind of annoying.
One good Crusher Ball can stop Victory Strike, but there is literally nothing, not one thing in this game you can do to Gogeta, which kind of sucks. You have to literally hope to draw into a negate or a Mafuba if they're playing Shenron leader. If they're playing Shenron leader, you need a Mafuba, or you do auto lose, which is very not fun.
Yep. Great.
Yeah. So on to the next point. I would like to see better support outside of blue for untapping energy. So something like Dimension Magic, like I said this in a review video a couple of weeks ago, or probably over a month ago now. I said that Dimension Magic would have been perfect for either green or red. Two things that really need to up their defensive capabilities in terms of like green leaders. Like the green negate is cool. Being able to pop a 2-drop is actually really good against aggro. But the red one's weird. The more I look at after image technique, the more I like it, because you can actually activate it under Victory Strike, so you can just get like a 50k bump, or basically a 60k bump, because you're decreasing their guy. But yeah, I think those colors need more access to untapping energy, because you really can't play things like Unbreakable in a red or green leader outside of something like Hercule or like a Zeno button deck. So yeah, I mean, I'd like to see those colors get some more untapping energy. What do you think?
I think since you are forced to kind of splash blue for one.
Oh yeah.
So like you have to play, Whis, Sentu, Mafuba type thing as far as a package in order to get those kind of effects. The only thing I would say is that I like the current color archetypes, but I think other colors require more options as well. Right, so like the fact that blue can untap energy, not only because of they have a blue leader, and that all of these blue cards give that like power and that ability, I think that's a little unfair to a lot of other colors, and they have to do a lot to get around that. So if they introduce more things to untap energy in other colors, I think it would be very interesting, but it would take away from that archetype in blue. Which would balance a little bit, but at the same time I'm like, it would take away blue's identity. Yeah, not only their identity, but the purpose of playing a different color, so that way you can actually I don't know, what's the word for it,
kind of see some uniqueness maybe.
Yeah. It's not that I don't want it to happen, it's just like it takes away from that card design, I guess.
I think it's a really good counterpoint.
Does that make sense?
I think it's a really good counterpoint. Yeah, I mean, every color I think has like somewhat of an archetype. Like blue is untapping, green is hand destruction / field control. Yellow, I guess. Yellow's weird. Yellow, I guess, is like counterplay / resting things. Red is like big bomb battle cards, and black is just like your typical support overwhelm kind of thing.
With like I was gonna say what should we call it, power reduction in red.
Yeah, and power reduction as well. Red has a couple things going for it, but yeah, I mean, I do agree with you. It would take away from the identity a bit. I just want something to like deter the play of blue leaders. I think it would be. I think set 5 is probably going to do that a little bit. I think a lot of different color leaders would be viable, but yeah. I mean, like the thing is, like if you're playing a blue leader, you can play on curve and not tap out with something like Unyielding Spirit Trunks, which is really cool. Any other leader. Yeah. Any other deck or leader, for the most part, you need to play a turn behind if you want to keep energy up for defense, and realistically you need to, otherwise you can lose very quickly. So I do think something like that is kind of important, but yeah, I think Bandai, I really appreciate how Bandai has kind of taken the game under their wing and just like they listen to what we want from it. They listen to how we think it could be improved. And actually, a generic untapping card is the 4-drop and 5-drop Shenrons. So those are good.
Yeah,
good start.
That's true.
A good start.
I think. Yeah, I think the introduction of the 4-drop Shenron is actually going to change a lot. Like, people are going to get really creative with that. Yeah, it doesn't have barrier, but at the same time, like, the things you can do it with it while it's on the field can get a little crazy. Just the fact that it can give critical to something is going to be crazy.
Yeah.
And it can untap 2 and under a Soul Striker leader, which I've seen happen, where you can place like a 4 energy, you play the Shenron, untap 2, draw a card, and then attack with leader, untap 2, draw a card, and then play another Shenron, untap 2, and then keep doing it.
Oh yeah.
So I think that's pretty cool. In the introduction of that, I think that's the proper way to do it right now.
100%. Yeah, Shenron is like, I love Soul Striker. A lot of our profiles on the channel are Soul Striker, and Shenron.
I've noticed.
Shenron to me just like screams Soul Striker. So I do like that card a lot. But yeah, sweet. So my next point is to I want something to drive up the secondary market slightly. Now I say slightly because I come from Yu-Gi-Oh! That's my biggest background in card games up until pretty much converting over to the Dragon Ball Super card game. And the secondary market in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is ridiculous. Like, a playset of a card can run you about $250, and that's like the best deck in the format. And like, for $250, you can probably build the best deck in the current format, which is like Hercular Storm, depending how you look at it. So
maybe not even that right now.
Huh?
Like, prices are so low, like, that you don't even need like that much, honestly.
Prices are so low, and I think that's really great for players. But at the same time, I know a lot of people who don't want to pick up this game because there's no way to, like, if you buy a box, like, you'll get everything you want from it, and then there's like almost no return on your investment. And like, for me, that's not very important. You know, I use my money from work and I invest in my hobby, and I'm not looking to make a profit back from it. But a lot of people, like, I can understand their point is like, well, I pulled these cards that I want to play, and now they're just going to sit in my binder and do nothing because nobody wants them and they're not worth anything. And I can see how that could be frustrating. And also that is going to hurt Bandai's sales, which can overall hurt the game. So I think if pull rates were reduced just a little bit slightly to make things a bit more rare, I think it might do the game some good. But what do you think?
I agree. I think pull rates is one thing. Something to incentivize us to buy more boxes, which they are doing. So the giant leaders, the exclusive SR card for the Black Man Saiyan, or the promo card technically. Yep. That stuff is pretty cool. But I think, and I've been doing this for a good year or so, and TCGs since I was a kid. But I think the only two things that can really give cards value is the competitive market. So within like whatever you need to stay competitive, the prices of that card that you need is going to be based on that. And the other thing is short print. So I think personally those are the two things that are going to be driving cards. So like, for instance, the short print, it's a whole like trifecta of things. The short print of the Victory Strike Goku, in which it is the ultimate card, so you can only pull one per like case or something like that. That card. Yeah, and the fact that it is a short print run with the tournament power box, which every box is like $100 now. What the heck? Yeah. And the last thing is that it's competitive now. So like, people like it's won regionals, and it has recent competitive bias, and I think that's crazy. So if like every card or every like major card had all three of those things, I think the secondary market would go up and will stay up because of that, because it's short print, because you can't get to it. And I think a lot of people are very critical about promos too. I don't know how you feel about promos, but I guess making good promos, quote unquote, but I feel like a lot of promos are actually good. What do you think about that? I love promos, and that's something that Yu-Gi-Oh! Never did, and I think it's really cool that when you enter a tournament, you get tournament packs and you get these special promo cards. And it's really interesting to me because in set 3, when tournament packs were lit, we had 3-drop Broly, which was like $30 for the foil at least. We had Scientist Fu, which was about 25-30. We had the 4-drop Bardock, which is about 20. So your pluses on entering a Dragon Ball Super tournament at your locals was so plus. And we had people entering tournaments that didn't even play Dragon Ball. They just wanted the tournament packs just to flip them.
and that's like, and then that's kind of shady or whatever. But like,
I mean, that's part of the nature, I think.
Yeah,
that's fine. Yeah,
for sure. It's not even a huge deal, but like, well, to me at least. But the thing is, like, that was a time where it was so cool. Now, dude, I have like 10 3-drop Broly's just sitting in my binder that are like 75 cents a piece. So the way the way the secondary market fluxes is crazy. And to be fair, that Broly is not necessarily meta relevant anymore. So that is a fair price probably for it. But I think that they need to do something like maybe reducing pull rates. I think promos are fine. I think promos are plenty accessible, which I think is a good thing. But I do like them.
Yeah, and I think, you know, to what I was saying before, as far as like the competitive nature and competitive bias, just like you're saying, meta relevant. As soon as it gets out the meta, it's just like 3-drop Broly when I first saw it and when it first came out. Just like you were saying, people were pulling those and selling it right after, or trying to sell it because it was like $15-20, and now it's less than $1. And before, it was because of Shigesh, it was because of the evolve targets and etc. And I think the other issue, which I know we can get to the next point, but the other issue about secondary market is that we're printing more and more cards that do something better than the last card.
That is true.
So like the energy boosted Majin Buu, other than being a search target, is really no use compared to the new Kai that as long as it's on the field and something plays during your turn, like the Raging Spirit Son Gohan or whatever, they have to place one at the bottom of the deck. So I think like something like that gains value and does the same thing like a draw and a blue card. It makes no sense to buy something, and people are going to be selling those or not buying it at all. So it's just, I don't know. That is something that needs to be fixed, and I think that's going to be a tough thing to tackle, but over time it should be fixed.
Yeah, I do agree with you. I do agree with that. Although I don't necessarily think it's a huge deal for a common card like Energy Boosted Majin Buu, but like something like Senzu Bean, like that is a common card that's at like the $9-10 mark right now, and that's just because it's a short printed common. And that's actually like, I don't think it's good that it's a price jump on a card like Senzu Bean, but I think we need to see that for different cards, like maybe like higher rarity cards. But like the secondary market's all whacked right now because Senzu Bean, in a perfect world, should not be at $10.
Well, it's just, I think the main reason for that is because there's no card that does the same thing.
Oh, for sure.
There's no card that untaps other than Dimension Magic and maybe Unending Awakening for the 5k boost for the turn, but there's really no other card that does that. And it is super meta relevant, just like you were saying before. So I don't know. I agree that that should be addressed.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, so we'll move on to the final thing I think the Dragon Ball Super card game needs, and I think that is something more to attract new players. So personally, at my locals, like we're still a growing community, and we're getting a couple new players every week or so, which is really cool. But I know a lot of players, like my locals especially, and people I've talked to around the entire country, their locals are still feeling the effects of Mecha Frieza format and SS3 format. Those formats were just in my opinion, incredibly unfun to play, and I know it is a big barrier to entry to new players because they're like, wow, this game's only a year old and you've already had 2 broken tier 0 formats, like this is dumb. So that's gonna prevent a lot of people from playing or make a lot of people leave the game. So I think we need something to really promote new players into the game. What that might be, I don't have like the perfect idea for it, but I think something along the lines of like a Bandai sponsored demo day. So we have the demo decks, which I think is a step in the right direction greatly, but I think something like a sponsored demo day where like, hey, you come in for demo day, you get X amount of I don't know, promo packs or tournament packs or whatever the case is. I think a special event for promo for the promo decks would be really good. What do you think?
Yeah, that's cool. I think the Dragon Ball Super or the Dragon Ball Tour that's going on right now, or just now finishing, is a really good start. Yeah. Because they gave out the Gokus, and I think they're still giving out those. They have a booth for Dragon Ball Super card game, which is awesome. And now the movies now have a exclusive promo, which
that's pretty cool.
If I think like back in the day when I was a kid, which it's a while now that I think about it. Like the Pokemon movies had a promo, and I thought that was really cool. I didn't play the game, but I still think that's really cool, and I think that's a huge incentive and kind of not only a talking point, but a like a driver, like a motivational driver to find out more about the game. And I think we need more of that. Not only that, but like the demo decks were just like you were saying, where they can actually play and figure out more about the game and see how it actually operates. Things like that. And I feel like I think Dragon Ball Super is a really good, like easy to get into, hard to master sort of game.
Yeah,
it's getting to that point.
I agree.
So I'm 100% down with that.
Yeah, I like that you brought that up. I think the mechanics are very, very easy to learn, and then becoming good at the game, like with card economy and efficiency, I think that's a hard skill to master. So I definitely agree with that. But yeah, anything that could revitalize this game in terms of just getting new players, I think would be excellent. And I think that Bandai has a great property in terms of Dragon Ball, so I think that'll be really easy to do. And I think they're taking steps in the right direction with that. Like the demo decks are a really good step in the right direction. Just like handing out free cards, you can't really say no to that. So good step in the right direction. I think we need to see something a bit more.
Yeah, I agree. I think the game's getting harder too. I'm not saying that just to be kind of scrubby, but I'm like legitimately, I feel like the game is getting a little bit more difficult to be. People are gonna like roast me for it, but like to get good at, right? Like to be at a really high level. I know that's a different discussion for a different video, but I think we're slowly getting to that.
Yeah, if you're down to talk about it, I mean, this is like a podcast style video. We'll keep going a little bit, but I agree with you. I think as the card pool increases, I think that the skill cap is going to increase, especially when you have different cards that answer other cards and different strategies you can make up. Taking like we have on the channel the Golden Frieza video, where that is taking a set 1 leader with a bunch of new set 4 cards, and it's honestly a really insane deck, and it's just like the creativity of it. So I think as the card pool expands, I think we'll see a lot of that type of thing where deck building is going to be a big part of who does well, and playability, what you can play around is going to be a big thing. So I definitely agree with that.
Right. Okay. Good. Not that I don't feel alone in that point then.
Oh no, I think it's healthy. I think it's healthy for the game, especially on the competitive scene, just to get a bit more difficult to be really good at.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a really good thing to do, or a really good thing to realize, and for the game to become to that, or to get to that. But we'll see. We got set 5 coming around, and no one has no idea, like any idea what to expect, and I like that. I think it's fair game right now for everybody, even people who play test on Untap and Octagon. Oh, yeah. And I think Nationals is gonna be pretty damn interesting.
Are you going to Nats?
Nah.
Oh, dude, you gotta go.
It's just too far. Like, one is too far. Two, it's like I was 6 spots away from a Nats invite in LA, and then I was 1 spot in Top Cut for prelims, and then Vegas was just shambles. It was just me and shambles. I think I could have got an invite there, but I was just like, I don't know. It's just like I think in the back of my head, I was just like, I don't want to pay $400 for a plane ticket. So
that is fair.
I just like I just don't want to do it. But if there is something, if something happens in the next couple of weeks and I end up in Nationals playing for an LCQ, I think that'd be fine.
That'd be cool. That'd be super cool. I'm sure the fans would love to meet you. That'd be super awesome. And it'd be cool to see you there for sure. Honestly, the community for Dragon Ball Super has been like one of the best communities I've ever been a part of in anything I've done. So.
Oh yeah, it's A1. It's definitely A1.
A1 steak sauce. Love it.
Steak sauce.
Well, this has been an awesome discussion, dude. Thank you so much for reaching out to me to do a collab video. I definitely want to do more of this in the future. Any final thoughts you wanna get out there? Any final talking points you want to hit?
No, I mean, I think we covered a lot of stuff. We covered a lot of stuff in my video. I think we a lot in yours. And yeah, definitely. I think the community is awesome, and there are a lot of different DBS YouTubers coming out the shadows right now and growing, and I love it. And hopefully I can reach out to more, not only to you, and we can all be a very happy family together. For sure, man. I think it's so fun to do this kind of thing. Thank you so much again. And yeah, definitely check out part 1 of the top 5 things the Dragon Ball Super card game needs. I'm going to post a link for that down in the description below. That's going to be on Aandroidd's channel. Check out our Discord community down in the description below as well. Aandroidd is actually in that Discord, so that's pretty dope. We're all just chit-chatting about the Dragon Ball Super card games. Definitely check that out. Share this video with your friends, because we're going to be running a ginormous giveaway now that we've hit 1K subscribers. Thank you all so much for that again. We're going to be running a ginormous giveaway with things like a box set 5, play mats, tournament packs, things like that. It's going to be one giant giveaway, so check that out. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name's Joey. This is Crossroad TCG. I'll let Aandroidd sign off too, and I'll see you next time. Later, guys.